rocked that helmet. I called it her roller girl look. I recognized the number on the phone and picked up with a chirpy hello. I had liked this warm and cheerful neurologist when we'd first met a few weeks earlier. But the voice on the phone spoke in a soft, delicate tone, very different from the one in our last conversation. "I have your daughter's test results," he said. I looked at Cedar. My tender-hearted husband was rummaging for something in his suitcase with a focused look on his face, skin glowing from a full week of vacation. I put the call on speaker and sat down on the twisted sheets of the unmade bed. At Eden's pediatrician's recommendation, we had, just in case, sought out genetic testing. Something had been off since Eden was just a few weeks old, when she would choke and sputter and pull off my breast in the middle of nursing. Then she would jolt awake repeatedly, sometimes every 15 minutes, all through the night. She was only able to consume small amounts of milk. Still, nobody expected anything big. For months, the pediatrician, a well-versed, no-nonsense practitioner with a tight ponytail, seemed to imply that the root cause of the feeding issues was me. "Keep on trying, Mom," she said, then made a referral to a lactation consultant and eventually occupational therapy. The occupational therapist, too, placed her focus on me. "Your anxiety about her not eating might be causing some of these feeding issues." But I had breastfed our first child, Avi, for almost a year, and by the age of 3, he was a roaring combination of curls and sheer will. He would gobble up whatever snappy foods were set in front of him, even things like asparagus or bright chunks of green avocado. Eventually, we had to cut him off locks because a preschooler should probably not finish off an entire package of smoked salmon in one sitting. Even for a Jew, it seemed overboard. I swore off dairy, hoping Eden's feeding difficulties had something to do with my commitment to cheese. I tried various breast pumps to slow the flow of milk, along with more than a handful of hypoallergenic formulas, bottles, levels, shapes of nipples, burping techniques, and time intervals between feeds. None of these changes made a difference, at least for Eden's well-being. She was bony, born under 6 pounds, and still in the first percentile for weight. All of this meant she was earning the most ominous of labels: failure to thrive. Failure probably should not be used to describe anybody under the age of 1, or anyone over the age of 1 for that matter. And so, I wondered if the real failure was me at 36 years old. After all, I was the mother. Wasn't I responsible for keeping her safe and well? On the phone, the neurologist's voice was stiff and minimal. "Your daughter has a substantial genetic deletion. It's very rare." "What does that mean?" I asked. I stood up and started to pace, the tiles cold beneath my bare feet. I stared at the thick burgundy brocade bedspread. "I'm sorry. I don't know enough to tell you very much about it. You can schedule an appointment with a geneticist to learn more." "We're gone. Out of town right now. Visiting family. We aren't even in Minnesota. I can't imagine waiting weeks wondering what this means. Do you know how much it will affect Eden? Will she be, compromised?" My voice started to crack, and then came a rush of tears. I didn't try to push them away. Cedar had stopped rummaging through his bag, and I felt his hand on my back, steadying me. There was a pause on the phone and a breath. The doctor responded softly. "I can't tell you exactly what it means, but she's missing DNA, a sizable amount. I wasn't expecting this. It's likely going to have a strong impact on her development." His speech was thick with caution, as if he was greeting us at a shiva, as if he didn't want to overstep, as if he was acutely aware that this phone call would be something I would remember for the rest of my life. I understood what he was saying in his not saying it. "What do you..."